Hey guys, today I'm going to be diving into Pastelmat. Yesterday we explored Carte and how we can layer and use different pastels and the texture and just had fun. You know, there's no pressure when you're working on a scrap piece of paper. Today we're doing that with Pastelmat. Firstly, Pastelmat is a very different texture of paper. There's nothing like Carte, there's really nothing you can compare it to. It's a texture. Oops. The texture is really soft. There's no grit to it at all. It feels, there's definitely tooth to it, but a very soft, almost fabric-like tooth. It's really beautiful. This is the anthracite color, and in this pad you get 4 different colors. You get this anthracite, and each and each paper is separated by a piece of glassine, which is nice, so the paper stays clean. This is brown, sienna. It's very orangey color. See, that's the thing I really love about Carte, is that you get really natural colors, and the paper itself is actually beautiful, so when it shows through, it's kind of a good thing, and it's not like, oh, it feels unfinished. Sometimes when a paper is this just even tone, there's not really much visible grain to it. It feels empty when there isn't pastel on it, if that makes sense. So this is sienna, and I think the last color is just plain white. It's very clean, crisp white. And those are the colors. Well, those aren't all the colors, but those are the colors that you get with the number 2 Pastelmat pad. But typically, as a disclaimer, I usually don't get pads. I've had that one for a long time because the pages are really awkwardly, like the dimensions are awkward, so you have to cut it down anyway, so why not get a big sheet? It's more cost effective and you get scraps to experiment on. Alright, I'm going to change this out for some Pastelmat. Actually, don't do that. First, I'm going to start layering with some soft pastel. I think I picked this color yesterday too. Creature of habit. Alright, I want to see what it looks like when I scumble a bunch of different layers of soft pastel on top of each other. Alright, now I'm going to go in with a similar value for layer 2. I love working on dark paper. It really makes the pastels pop. It's a little lighter. See, when you have a little bit of white in the pigment, that's when things can get a little chalky looking. Going with this green color. Alright, that is 1, 2, 3, that's layer 4. So already I can tell Carte can hold more layers than Pastelmat. This is already, the tooth is already filled up. Yesterday on Carte I was able to get 7 layers like this without it starting to smudge. If you can see there, it's a little smeared, and on layer 4 it's already filling up the tooth. Now I'm going to layer on bold strokes on top of these scumbled strokes. So right now the way I'm thinking is when I block in paintings, I usually scumble large areas and then create more nuance with other colors scumbled over, and then when I want to get into details and really bring out areas that I want to focus on, I will make bolder marks over top. So let's see how the Pastelmat handles that with the layers we already have. That's actually pretty good. Let me try a really light color, like a more of a light value. I see some transparency. Let's look at it in comparison without any pastel underneath. See how much brighter that color is in this? I'm seeing some transparency and smudging. This paper is beautiful, but this paper might lend itself better to more detailed work, just because it doesn't hold as many layers as Carte, in my opinion. All right, now I've got out the medium to hard hardness pastel, Rembrandt. Let's see how it handles it. There's a layer of Rembrandt. Layer 2. Layer 3. Layer 4. Little smudgy there. Let me do one more layer to see how it takes it. All right, let's try a 5th layer. Yeah, it's already starting to smudge. That's because the tooth is filled. That is to be expected. And really, who's gonna layer more than, you know, 4, 5 different pastel layers on top of each other? Now, on top of that, we can go over with the hard pastel once again, but with a bold mark like we did up here. That looks pretty good. Try over here. I'd say that's pretty comparable. That's really vibrant because the pink behind it is kind of its complementary, so it's really popping out at you. Now I'm going to try a white or very light value color just to see how it handles it. Actually, much better than up here. That's a solid stroke. Let's compare this Rembrandt up here on top of the soft pastel. I bet it'll be a lot more transparent. Interesting. The Rembrandt on this pastel mat layers more opaquely over this soft pastel than this soft Unison does. Weird. All right, now we're going to get some Derwent pastel pencils. Pastel pencil time. Now I know a lot of people that use pastel pencils love this paper. So I am going to see how many layers of pastel pencil I can get on this bad boy. 1. I'm gonna do a little tally so I can keep track. 2. Now I usually wouldn't layer colors like this on top of each other. Sometimes I'd go in with a complement to knock down the vibrancy of a color, but I wouldn't just go in randomly with colors like this. I'd have more of a goal in mind I'm trying to achieve. I'm just doing this so you can distinctly see each layer as I go over top, just so base layers don't blend in with each other. Typically when you're layering pastel, you want to stay within a similar value, just because the colors look better that way. They look less muddy. Alright, I think we're starting to fill the tooth. It's layer 4. We'll try one more layer. Actually, this is handling really well on this paper. Layer 4. Wow, I cannot math. Layer 5. Layer 6. Cute. Layer 7. I'm actually really impressed with this. Wait. You see what I did there? Okay, let's pretend that's 5, and then there. It's actually 7. I just crossed out 5 like a silly little girl. Okay, so here we have 7 layers. I don't know why anybody would go over with more than 7 colors, so we're going to stop there. These pastel pencils layer beautifully on Pastelmat. Now what I want to do is I want to, like I did up here, do a bold mark with the pastel pencil over the previous layers. See how it looks. Not bad. It is a little transparent, but there's still some really good vibrancy there. Let me do this to compare. Wow, you can really see the difference. I'm loving Pastelmat for pastel pencils. All right, now I'm going to go over the medium to hard pastel with the pastel pencil to see how it layers. Okay, issues there. It's very transparent. That is the maximum vibrancy you can get out of this pencil. That is very sad and see-through. Now let's try on top of the soft pastel. I have a feeling it's not going to be good, but we'll see. Weird! It keeps shocking me. Okay, so somehow this pastel, this Derwent Pitt pastel pencil layers better over the soft pastel than it does the medium to hard pastel. That's why we experiment, because we find things out. How funny is that? Again though, if you were just to go directly on the paper, which is my preferred method, much more vibrant. Now I kind of want to just see how bold you can get with one color. Let's see. Pretty darn bold. I wouldn't say that it's any more vibrant though than just the one mark. The pastel paper takes it up really well. All right, this is fun. I'm having a blast. I'm gonna do this with every pastel paper ever. Time for some pan pastel. Wow. That filled the tooth a lot quicker than on the Carte. Yeah, that is saturated. This will be interesting. Now let's do a little gradient where it's very transparent. All right, now let's see how soft pastel layers over pan pastel on Pastelmat. How many times can she say pastel? Okay, let's see. Oopsie. Oh my goodness, gorgeous. I love soft pastel, you beautiful thing. So that's about as vibrant as you can get. And this tooth is already very saturated. Now Rembrandt over the pan pastel. Beautiful, worked really well. Let me try it without it. I would say that's close to just as vibrant. Now for the Pitt pencil. Let's see. Ooh. So what I'm finding is that I know people love it, but pastel pencil just doesn't layer over pan pastel that well. On any paper I've tried, it's not the Pastelmat's fault. See how much more vibrant? So if you do use pan pastel, use a very light layer. Now let's try and put pan pastel over the other pastels. I have a good feeling this isn't gonna look good, but that's why we're experimenting. Okay, there's not really, let's go this way. Ew, throw up, gross, blah. All right, now let's try it over the medium to hard pastel. A little bit better, but still ugly to be honest. And now let's try pan pastel over pastel pencil. Wow, that actually looks good. Okay, so you can put pan pastel over the pastel pencil layers. The more you know. All right, now that we've layered, let's try some blending. Let's see how this blends. First, I'm just gonna, since I have pan pastel in my hand, I'm gonna blend two pan pastels together. So we've got red, and let me clean this off. And then this pink color. Yeah, that blends beautifully on this paper. You can get a really soft blend, look at that. So if you're into blending, pan pastels on Pastelmat, you're good to go. All right, now let's blend some pastel pencils together on this thing. Now when I blend pencils together, I start off, well, I'm gonna do a gradient, but I start off with one color and then pull the other color into it and then use a lighter and lighter pressure until, ooh, that makes a really pretty red. Until we're just not getting any pigment on the paper. And then you can just do that back and forth, like a push and pull, until you have the gradient that you desire. It's already looking really good. Let's just do it a couple more times for kicks and gigs. But already, I mean, we don't have to do much more than this. If you like blending pastel pencils, Pastelmat works really well. And then if you're a crazy person, which I'm not, well, I am, but not in this way, you can use your finger. Oh, it just, to me, it just takes away the vibrancy. I wouldn't do it, but look, you can, it works. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing with the Rembrandts, which again are the hard to medium hard pastels. So I do it similarly. With these pastels, but I'm gonna go on their side. Oh, this orange has a lot of like white in it. It's not a very vibrant orange. That is not the fault of the paper. I'm just, see, this would come in handy if you're doing like a sky and you're doing a gradient, you know, from a dark ultramarine all the way down to a lighter phthalo blue. Gorgeous, works well with these medium to hard pastels too. And then I'm gonna use my finger again. I'm cringing. It just feels so wrong. You actually, fun fact, you can actually do this to rub the pastel in the tooth further to add more layers over top. All right, now that I just said that, let's actually do that with the soft pastels. All right, let's pretend this is a sky. I guess I'll go down here. Oh, you just really can't beat soft pastels. They're so beautiful. I am a lover of color though. So if you like more nuance, I mean, I understand. I don't get it, but I understand. But look how vibrant. See, that's how you could get a beautiful sky with soft pastel. Just push and pull back and forth. And these soft pastels blend beautifully on the Pastelmat. And oh, I'm holding my breath, but let me use my finger and blend it. Perfect gradient. Works wonderfully. What else can we do? All right, I thought of an idea. Let's take each pastel, and I did it with the pastel pencil a little bit. Let's get some bold color in there. I just want to block in. Look at that. How beautiful is that? I mean, oh my goodness. Let me do it with lighter value, soft pastel. And then now I'm going to do that with the Rembrandt. I want to see how solid of a color. Wow. I'm liking it already. The Rembrandt's just as bright as the soft pastel. People are sleeping on Rembrandts. I don't know why. I'm not saying that they get hate, but I feel like people are like, oh, those aren't real artist pastels. But I mean, I think they're pretty great. I'm actually inspired to use these in my next piece. That's one thing that experimenting has gotten me. All right, and then we did a bold square there with a pastel pencil. It was beautiful. Oh, this paper is really great. I'm trying to think of something else we can do to fill this last little piece of paper. I have an idea. Let's scumble together some hard pastels and soft pastels. So I'm thinking, what if I blocked in shapes with the Rembrandt harder pastel, and layered over it with the soft pastel? How would that look? Gorgeous. Beautiful. Now let me layer back over with the Rembrandt and see what happens. I don't think it's going to be a good result. Oh, okay. Wrong. Looks great. Now let's explore a little bit with mark making and see how crisp of lines we can get. Okay? Those are as crisp as you can get. I'm going to go over with a different color. See where things start to go wrong. That's looking really good. So I'm seeing a little bit of smearing from the yellow and the blue. And another rule to consider is that you typically want to layer dark to light because it's easier to lighten a pastel area, much harder to darken without it getting, you know, the white pigment in it and it looking muddy. So if you're mark making like that with bold strokes, I wouldn't do more than a couple layers because things are already starting to look a little messy. And then one more just for fun. I honestly really shouldn't be complaining because it's all very clean and you could have some really cool results with this. I just see a little bit of the previous layers kind of smearing into the top marks. But all in all, that's an incredible result for this paper. All right, that was fun. I hope you had fun watching because I had a blast. I always want to do this, but don't want to ruin paper or, you know, an art piece I'm working on. So it's fun to just let loose and see what you can do with this paper. And yeah, I hope you learned something about Pastelmat or just pastels in general. And stay tuned because I'm going to be making more videos about different pastel surfaces, a couple of new pastel papers that are coming out, wink wink, and I'll probably do a video comparing all of them together, so that'll be fun. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you next video.